Good morning, Michal and Igor. Michal
Hi,
Molnar
Nicholas. Hi.
and
Hi.
Igor Fabry, young people from Slovakia. So I'm sure that most of our viewers know where the Slovakia is, but can you tell me exactly where it is and more precisely where Banska Bystrica is?
Slovakia and is in the middle, exactly on the middle of the Europe. Yeah, it's the middle point of the Europe is maybe 50 kilometers from our town in Kremnica, it calls, and we are a small country, 5 million people, and it's beautiful country. We like it, live here, and I think it's really nice place to be.
Fantastic. So how old are you, Michal, and how old are you, Igor?
I'm 40.
And I'm 38.
And how two of you got together? Do you know each other from childhood, or you just bump into each other, or at later stage in life? How do you two get together?
We met us in a work. We are both goldsmith, not watchmaker, basically, and we met at in a work. Yeah, so we work together. Igor is from different town, not far away, but he studied in Banska Bystrica and then work in Banska Bystrica. And we met in a work, at one goldsmith.
So you might ask yourself, I don't know whether you're surprised or not when I initiated this request for video chat, but to explain to our subscribers and viewers, the reason why I wanted to talk to you was simply because I follow you on Instagram and I see your work. And it is probably the most amazing work I've seen recently when it comes to finishes, engraving, the overall presentation of the watch, the uniqueness of it. It is a very, very powerful work. And I simply couldn't resist. I had to call you, and I really appreciate the fact that you're taking time to talk to me. I'm a small watchmaker, far, far away from you guys, down in Sydney, in Australia. But your work is universal and really speaks. I think I'm sure you've heard that before. How would you define yourself? Are you watchmakers or goldsmiths, jewelers, engravers, artists, craftsmen? If you are to put in one box, what that box would be, or maybe you are more than one.
We are, I think, more artists than watchmakers, but at this moment, the 90% of our work are watches, and 10 maybe jewelry. I think we are more watchmaker now than goldsmith, and our watches we see as more as an art, like and a watch, and we try in every watch put some piece of from us, some art. We don't want make only simple watch, not mean simple technically, but with some decoration and something special, something different. On the market it's thousands of different watches, and we try to make something little bit different, something more artistic, not only mechanical art, but also the combination from the goldsmith and engraving and stone setting and everything we make also by ourselves. We have self-learned stone setting and engraving, and also the watchmaking. Big help for us.
Michal, tell me a little bit about your where do you learn a trade? You said you're self-taught, but surely there was some master behind you, at least in your early days, who set you on track, explain how it's done. At least jewelry is serious trade. So maybe if you share a little bit about where you started, when. I know you graduated in 1998 from school. So did you go to watchmaking or jewelry school, or how? Tell me more about your early
Yeah,
days.
we both goes to jewelry school, and but in our country it has also not so big history about the jewelry, and the quality of the school was not very good. Hey? When we left the school, we don't know much about what about the jewelry, and you know the training is the best way to learn everything, and most thing we learn uh, first from the man for in a work, yeah, from the goldsmith, but he also was not so great jeweler. And then uh, we uh, open our own jewelry shop, and we prefer more quality. And in this time when we work, it's more quantity than quality, and we have it different. Also from the start, and also about the jewelry, we prefer the quality, not the quantity. And we start making on high jewelry and unique pieces also in jewelry. Then we see the video with Philip before about how they made watches, and uh, we really like that it's not far away from that what we make. It's mechanical, more like aesthetical in jewelry, but we feel that it's really nice start working on watches, and the video really help us understand that we can make it. But on the beginning, we don't know what all we need to know about it. It's
Did you have any formal training, or did you work in Switzerland or outside Slovakia? Did you? Because I tell you why. When I first saw your watches, and certainly we can talk a little bit later about the connection with the movement makers in Switzerland. I thought that you guys are Swiss who happen to be of Slovak origin, because the quality of your work, I mean, with all due respect, I was very much surprised. And even in Switzerland, you don't see craftsmen like you. And I'm not saying this easily. So, have you been to Switzerland? Have you trained there, and have you worked there? Or tell me more about that.
we never work in Switzerland. We everything about watchmaking and making watches learn by ourselves from YouTube, from different books, but we never has someone who can help us. We know some independent watchmakers that a little bit help us something if we have some problem, but Aaron Beksey, if you know, from Hungary, is good or good friend, but that's everything. We can't, we don't have no one who can help us. On the beginning, it was really very complicated. We really like the book from George Daniels. This is one thing that really helped us understand more the watchmaking and the process. And some old books from the school, watchmaker school. Only one watchmaker school was in Czechoslovakia before, and in Czech Republic. Yeah? In Slovakia never was any school. Then we never go to any training, never go to any watchmaker school. Everything what we learn, it's from the book and YouTube. Yeah, it's and the training, and we still try making our first watches. We create 2 years. It take 2 years to make first two pieces. It was not very good, but takes a lot of time. And then we still want to make better. And with every watch, we learn new things. Now is our passion also in vintage movements, and we really like it work on vintage watches, because we can many things learn how they make it, and it's really nice disassembling any vintage watch on also in better quality. First couple of years we work only with ETA Unitas. It's simple. It's good. I think we still like the movement because it's very good for modification, and it's perfect movement for any prototyping and any training. But then we have customers that want more complicated watch, than want tourbillons, rattrapant, or minute repeaters, and that was for us really difficult to understand the complications, and we like now making also something more complicated.
Well, okay. I have to be completely honest with you, and I'm in shock because I'm third generation master watchmaker. I spent my entire life behind the bench, and when you say tourbillon, when you say rattrapante, these are complex movements that I am not always comfortable working on. I have to hold myself back. I need to get in that special stage and mental state where I clear my bench and shut the door, and then I'm really just working on complicated, movements. And that is rare, even in my daily life. That's rare. But you two guys, self-taught, you jump into it at the high end so bravely, and I'm really, really pleasantly surprised that you had the courage to get into complex movements without years behind the bench. I mean, please take this as a compliment, because that's what I mean.
Thank you.
You should be congratulated. So I'm still a little bit, unclear how you two decided to work together. What was the reason for partnership?
On the beginning, it's what that we like quality. We like the perfectionism of jewelry, watches, and everything. It's this one thing that we both like, and we are really different people, and that's the point that it works, I think, because we know us almost 20 years, and we still are on the same level and same how I can say
Yes, on the same frequency. You resonate with each other.
yes. We still.
So do you, for example, if you're working on a particular watch, do you work together on that watch, or you're working on two different watches at the same time? And what is the process itself? Do you sit down together and analyze and think how you're going to do things together on one watch, or you work on two watches at the same time? I just want to understand how that works.
It depends on how much work we have, but at most we make both on one watch. Igor works more on the graphic designs, and he sketched the first design and study the movement. If it's a complicated movement, we first time we need to understand all the things that are on the movement and what we can change and what we can't. And after Igor create the design, then I finish it on a computer with Photoshop and Illustrator, and it looks more clear for the customer what he can have. And after the customer are satisfied with the visualization of the watch, then he paid us a deposit for the watch. We tell him you can have it in maybe 2 years, okay? And then we start working on it. I made it. We have separated that Igor make design and I make more watchmaker side and communication with the customers, and then I disassemble the movement, or if it's vintage movement, I first restore the movement, and then we start working on the case. If it's special case, we also make unique cases if it's possible. If we need something that we don't have, we create also the case. It's no problem for us because we are goldsmith and we can work with this. And this is more complicated when it's something really unusual and not the unitas we use, or also the tourbillon that we have, different tourbillons that we use. And then always it's a bit more complicated to case it. And also the decoration, if it's expensive movement, we try nothing to damage because, you know, it's hard to find the parts. If it's vintage movement, it's much more complicated when it's something broken or lost from the movement.
Tell me about how did you got your hands on the Christoph Claret movements? I read somewhere that only 3 tourbillons were available to you guys. Is that true, or are there more movements available to you? And how that relationship and partnership or business relationship started? Did you just knock on Christoph's door and said, "Hey, look, we are two Slovakian guys. We would like to buy tourbillon"? Please tell me more about it.
It was really funny because we know some journalists from Czech Republic that make časopis, make a
Magazine.
Magazine about watches, and they are good friends with Christoph Claret. He is, and when we 1 year go with the journalist on the Basel Fair, he introduced us to him, and we have with us one from our first watches that we make. Not first, but maybe on the beginning. It's maybe 5 watches that we make, and he really liked the quality and the idea of the watch. And we speak together a little bit, and at this time we have one customer that are interested in tourbillon, and because Christoph really like what we make, and he don't sell anyone the movement, only his good name. He don't want to damage his good name, yes, and but he like us and what we make, and then we then he can sell us first 3 pieces, and totally 6 movement we have from him. About in half year we go to visit his manufacturer, and we spend the whole day with him in his manufacturer. He show us every room and every place, and it's really amazing his work, and we really like that he's the only owner of the brand, and it's not some, you know, big
Corporation.
Yes, and he know every employees in the company by name. He can work with every machine, and it's really amazing how it works in his company. We really like that he offered the whole day for us, and it's a really nice time to be there. And every year when we go to exhibition and we speak together, and I think it's really nice person and very good people, or really good man for. It's not like big brands. It's different. It's really different.
And he himself is known as a top perfectionist in a watchmaking trade. So for him to recognize your skills and your desire to create something that is perfect. And again, many makers call their watches and artwork and craft perfect, but we know that's not always the case. So to be recognized as a perfectionist as well, that was a huge compliment. I'm sure you went home happy that Christoph recognized you guys as the word partners.
it was really great for us, and it was one of our dream when we saw the video with Philip before, and there was also Antoine Preziusa that he worked on tourbillon that it's not by Preziusa, but it was from Christophe Claret, and at the video we really like the movement, but we at this time we don't know that it's from Christophe Claret, and in short time we got the movement, and it was for us really amazing that we have it. It's still unbelievable for us, but it's really great that we can have the movement from him, and it's amazing movement. Really, I think that we work also different tourbillons now, and movement from Christophe Claret, it's really complicated to assemble. It's not so easy like different tourbillons. It's more complicated, more precise. You don't have. It's really easy to damage the movement, and we don't buy assembled movement. We have only kits, unfinished parts, raw parts only, and first tourbillon that we try to assemble it take us about 1 month to assemble only the movement.
So the movement arrived as a kit, all
Yeah.
the components there. It took you 1 month to assemble. How long it took you to engrave and hand finish all the components?
The complete watch take us about 3 months to finish, from start to finish, including all the decoration and so. It's really complicated, as even if the tourbillon is not so big, such a big complication like different complication, but it's this exactly is pretty complicated to finish it. Well, I think the first watchmaker would have really big trouble to assemble it, because it's really complicated, I think.
Well, my favorite piece of artwork from you guys is Atlantis. Tell me more about that particular watch. Was that commission? Has it been sold? Is it still available? Or tell me more about it. Because to me, this is a very special watch. I like everything about it, from sapphire jewels, engraving work, very unique case. Tell me more about the Atlantis, please.
The watch is still available. We have it here.
Oh.
But most we everything make on orders, and we have now we have 3.5 years in forward the order, and Atlantis we start making because we have the movements, and at this moment we don't have any customer for the watch, because we won't have finished tourbillon in our atelier, and we found some time for creating the watch, because it's easier to sell such a type of watch when it's finished, like make it on order. And the whole idea is that we really like Damascus steel, and had no customer for it, and we tried to make something for presentation, and that people can see how it looks, and a lot of people really like the watch, and I think it's a complete watch. It's really genuine, and looks very original, and including with the blue stones and sapphires. I think it's not too much colorful, but it's really men's watch, I think. And the idea with the Atlantis is Igor's idea. It's like the Atlantis gate on the back and engraved, and I think that it's works really well with the movement, and as a result, we are satisfied with the watch, how it looks, and it's made not for the customer. It's made only for the presentation. It's for sale, of course, but it has no customer at this moment. I can show you. Maybe it's not so good at this video.
Wow, I love it. I have it as a screensaver on my computer, actually. And what is the case size? How large is the case?
It's 44. It's 44 diameter. It's the size we use the most at this moment. But now we play that we will work on smaller cases. We have some customers that want a case in size 40, and this is also our design of the case. And we try make something similar design, but in smaller size with different movements. Now we have new movements from Voucher with micro rotor, and we try make some suit watch that's some more elegant and more not simple, but something that is good for daily wearing and something more thinner and more wearable.
Okay, tell me about another thing that always puzzles me. I'm not engraver, and I have a great respect for engravers, and I think that the artist that is not something you can teach someone. You have to be born as engraver, and artistic side and skills and the practical side. It's amazing. There are not many people out there. Actually, I can tell you something. Today I was doing a little bit of research and looking at some other engravers, and I look at Atlantis, and I look some other watch, and then I go back to Atlantis, and I go back to another engraver, and the more I look other stuff, the more your watch looks attractive and appealing to me. It's just that you guys are next level, and this is amazing. But uh, you, correct me if I'm wrong, but with engraving and skeletonizing, the trick is to remove less rather than more. I think some people overdo it, if you know what I mean. They take everything out of the meat, uh, where we're striking a balance between what's left and what's removed, and what's engraved and what's left intact is actually the true magic.
Yeah, I think a lot of watches are uh, it's thin line between nice watch and I would say in English, which I can say it. But you know, if it's too much, it's not nice. If like you said, or too much removed from the movement, it's the big hole there, and you see more your hands like the movement. And we like when it's when it's made with I think a lot of artists that make something. Also, the big brand, also Washer and Constantin and different brands. We see that the engraving it's not so perfect. Also, in really expensive watch, and the engraving it's really nice art, and we both can engrave, and we learned it by ourselves. The training it's really important there, and we really like when we goes to Germany on the Munich Time exhibition. I don't know if you know, and there we see also some engraving schools presenting his work, and it's really nice that we see how they work, and so, and it helped us a little bit to found the right tools and and what you need. But everything we learn by ourselves. We engraved everything under microscope, and that's the big point, because it's too small parts and you can easily damage with engraving the whole work. But under the microscope, it's much more safer and much more, you can much more great make the details, and the engraving really help us. Also, when we make uh, some other finishing on the movements, we use the engravers, and we are really happy that we can also engrave, because it really help us make the watch much more attractive. And
I read somewhere that the technique that you use is described as a banknote technique. Can you tell us
yeah,
a little bit more what that means?
it's like relief engraving, that you have different deep of the engraving. You have some places that are completely uh, English, my English, a little bit deeper, and it's not also that you remove some small places, but you remove also the bigger surfaces on the movement, and it's more three-dimensional, the engraving. And then you can play also with the surfacing of the engraving. You, on the lower parts, you make something like sandblasting, but it's not not always. You can make it with different tools, the surface, and the top you can circumference on the latte, or with my English still problem. We play with different finishing on the movement, and then the result, it's looks more complication on the sun. It looks more shiny and different when you have English with some polished parts. We don't like if it's too much polished parts. It's good uh, when it's on the watch different types of the finishing. Then it looks more complicated and more exclusive. I think it's nicer.
I completely agree with you that your work is multi-dimensional. It's almost like a layer after layer after layer, and then the complete end result is just mesmerizing. Can you walk me through the uh, a process that you go through with a customer? How much input your customer has into final end result? Surely uh, they will tell you what kind of complication they want, whether it's tourbillon, whether it's simple 64978, whatever, ETA movement, or anything in between. I know that you skeletonized and engraved Piquet 21 movement, which is ultra slim line. You said you're doing some vintage complications. Uh, so what is the process? How much say would a customer have? How far would you let a customer influence your work?
We have different type of customers. Sometimes it's really easy and the customers just say, surprise me. We have also this type of customer. And then we have customer that we met 10, 50 times before we start the process, and he still asks a lot of questions. And we always try, the customers can't say a lot about what he wants. But sometimes, it's technically not possible what they want, but almost every customers understand that if it's some technical problem, he understands that it's not possible to make that what they want. But I think we try personalize the watch most that the taste of the customer. If he wants something really different that we never made. We try to find how it's possible to create the watch that he liked. And sometimes we are really surprised about the finish of the watch, that when it's finished, it looks really, really good also from this view that we never made some type of the watch that the customer want. And and always we try put in the watch that it's still our child, and we still make the result that the watch has our signature. It's not that the customers can make everything, and we never made on order watch that we don't like. So it's and the customers understand it. It's still Molnar Fabry brand, and but at this moment we never have the problem with customers find the the
Balance
right
between
designs and
your
balance between that what they want and what we can make and what we want. But it sometimes is very really funny. That's the process, the beginning of the making the watch
well,
for the customer.
you've been making the finishing and decorating, engraving watches for a number of years now, and there is a I don't think it's difficult anymore to showcase your skills. And I'm sure, like, I would be quite happy to order a watch from you without even, I would be your surprise me guy, because I think that there is a magic in that in itself. Uh, uh, I wouldn't, quite frankly, I wouldn't be comfortable enough to make strong demands in relation to style or look, or even, especially not going into detail, because it, who am I, to to argue with the masters. Uh, Tell me about one other thing. I know you make cases, and because you're goldsmith, making gold case is not a problem. Uh, uh, I'm not sure how difficult it is to make stainless steel cases for you guys. Uh, but which other components at this point of time you are comfortable making in your workshop?
We are able to make almost every components except hairsprings, yes, and so that almost no one can make it. But the stainless case, we try to cooperate with one Czech company, Prim, if you know, it's Czechoslovakian watch brand, only one, and it's still working, but it has a little bit trouble. But they make for us a couple of cases, but now we don't work with the company, and we search for a different one, because, like, handmade cases from stainless steel, it's really tough job, and we have possibility also make it by ourselves, and sometimes if we need something really special, we make also the stainless case by ourselves, but it's really hard work, and it's not good to make it by hand. With the gold, it's much easier for us. Right? And now we search for someone who can help us with the raw design of the case, the finishing, and it's really complicated because in our country it's not so many companies that can help us, but we still try to find, and it take us now, maybe we spent 2 years to cooperate with one company, and we still have nothing in our hand. Yeah, but we don't make too much stainless watches, and it's not so big problem for us now. We have still something on stock from the previous company that make us the cases. Also, when we have cases from the company, we have it in raw, unfinished, and we finish also the case, because it's easy to damage the if you have want to have too nice shape of the case, and not every company can finish to you as good as we want it. Then we make also the finish on all steel or titanium cases by ourselves.
Okay, well, how about this? I always ask, well, actually, before I ask you this, and I don't want to talk about what we do, this is not the point of this interview, but one of my dreams is to equip ourselves for case making. And we talk about Dan Spitz last night, a watchmaker in US, and I was surprised that even in America, it's not easy to find uh, supportive businesses or manufacturers who can make um, watch components there, despite the history of watchmaking in America. At one point of time, 100 years ago, you know that they make some of the most beautiful and accurate and precise and complex pocket watches. That's all gone. So I told Dan it would be nice then if we can set up ourselves for case making, and then maybe we can sell you one case a year. And this is kind of dream of mine that maybe we can independent watchmakers like you guys and us can work together, and maybe we can in the future, in I don't know, in 3 years, 5 years time from now, we can offer you a custom case. I think that will solve a problem for many young startups or even established businesses, because as you said, cases are not easy, especially not in stainless steel.
Yeah, because the bigger problem is that in Germany are a lot of companies that can make cases, but the problem is that if you want your own design of the case, you need order minimum 100 cases. Yeah, and I don't need 100 cases in the same design. Yeah, and that's the problem with almost everything. If you want from any supplier that then don't sell you 5-10 pieces from anything. Minimum orders are hundreds, 500s or 1,000. Even when you want good movements, it's also a big problem. They don't sell you two movements. You know, it's not easy, the communication with the bigger companies. If you want something that's not so much pieces, if you want only 2, 3, 5, it's not interested the company to sell you something. And that's the bigger problem also, why we almost everything make by ourselves, because if we need only one special case, nobody can make it for us, or it would be pretty expensive, and it's sometimes problem that the customer don't want such an expensive watch, even if it's in steel. Yeah.
Who made that beautiful, I can't tell exactly what is the color, but turquoise, bluish, greenish watch box that I can see on your Instagram? Who made that box? Tell me about a box. Like, that is a piece of art in itself.
It's also it's our good friend. He lives near Banska Bystrica, maybe 35 kilometers from us, and he worked in UK for a couple of years. He created luxurious furnitures and tables and different things. And then he came back to Slovakia because of the family, and we met us in his presenting shop, and he started speaking about what he make and so, and we really like, and the quality was exceptional, and we have different boxes from different producers, and nothing has such a good quality that we want. And even from France, Ellie Blue, if you know the company, it's big producer of a luxurious watch boxes, and the quality it's good, but for the price that they want, I think it could be better. And this guy, uh, it takes maybe 1 year then until we have something from him. But we see his work, and I know that he's really good, and he work alone. He has no employees, and he make all the finishing and everything on the box is made by him. Also the inside of the case, and he's really good. He can really uh, make the details perfect, and we are really satisfied. And also the idea with the box you like, it's also everything is made by him. We don't say him that make this and make this. It's his idea, and the whole product. It's I think it's really special. It's and the quality is amazing. We really like and are happy that we have here finally someone who can make for us something special. And now we, with every unique watches, we put it in a unique case. We never have two watch boxes the same. And that's, I think it's we are only one company in the whole world that has not only unique watches but also unique watch cases made by hand.
Absolutely amazing. You don't. You just reinforcing what we see following you on Instagram and every post. Like on Instagram, there's a lot of people doing lots of things, but I can't stop complimenting you guys because when you don't post too often, but when I go through your archive and see what you posted in the past, it's just another world. It's completely another world. And I think it's a little bit unfair that nowadays watch collectors or people who are into watches or collecting watches, I said the majority of them focus on only 3 or 4 brands, where they are completely, I have to say this, ignorant of diversity and beauty that is out there that comes from independent watchmakers and craftsmen like you guys. I think it's just a little bit unfair. And uh, of course, artists like you guys are a bit shy. You don't really want to talk about what you do, but it's a little bit unfair. And I think we should talk about your work and your art, because I think the ultimate level of sophistication in watch collecting is collecting individual pieces made by individual craftsmen. I'm sure you will agree with me on that one.
Yes, that's right. Also, we see similar like you, because the independent watchmaker that we also know and we are on an exhibition, it's pretty nice that the ideas and the quality and the style and everything about the watches from independent watchmakers are really amazing and more special than any big brands. It has the freedom of the creating something that he wants, and I think the freedom is really important in creating something new, something fresh, something different. And the big brands can't do it because he has his own history and he can't make everything. It's he has the money for making everything, but he can't, and that's the point. I think that's why the independents can make more interesting watches with soul. I think that is also important, that it's not only made by machine, but the feeling of the spirit of every craftsman is there, and I think it's felt. It's everybody can feel that it's not only any watch, but it's something more special and more unique, like the big brands, even if it's much expensive watch.
Michal, I will ask you this first, and then you will help me with Igor, and I will ask the same question to him. So same question for both of you. When I interview young apprentices, and staff in general. We're a small company. It's only 8 or 9 of us at any given time, but we do have people knocking on our door. And I always ask this question, and I'm always surprised how surprised they are being asked the question. The question is simple. What is your magic power? What do you possess that nobody else that you know possess? Or what makes you so special? And you have to be honest with me, whatever that is. You know, people say, oh, I got attention to detail, or I'm hardworking and I'm really good at this software. These are not magic powers. You know, I want to, I want you to tell me your secret. What is your magic power? When you wake up in the morning, you feel like a Superman. You know you possess it. What is it?
I think it's easy answer, because I think the magic is that we both has that we work together. It's that spirit, because if I only made the watch, or Igor, there was no watch in the world, even if we can make it. But we together help us to inspire one. You know what I mean? Inspire us, and when we sit on a table or somewhere at a coffee, yeah, and we speak together, and we still found something new. And I think the cooperation of us, it's the magic. Why we can make this type of watches. And it's one answer for both, but I think that this is the thing.
You know what? Igor, please ask him on a camera, does he agree with you?
So what's this thing?
Yes.
He understands you, but
my English is very bad.
But he understands. He understands what you say, but he can't so answer. He don't.
But you know what? I'm 57. I'm much older than you, and I thought this interview is going to be easy. And once we're done, we edit, we put on YouTube, and I'll continue to follow you, and we're done. But now I have to, every morning I'm going to wake up, I'm going to pray that your relationship remains strong forever. Because now you burden me with that, because every morning I'm going to get out of bed, I'm going to think, is Michal and Igor still together, working hard, bouncing ideas? Because that would be, you know, if this is what you feel, like your relationship as two craftsmen working together, that's magic. I have not heard that before, ever.
Oh, I think I feel it's so that, you know, one thing is that someone is a good craftsman, but like you said, the magic is somewhere different, because the cooperation between two people who want the same result, and we a lot of talking about what we're creating, and I think it's pretty important to have someone with that you can speak with him about the process, and that's pretty important. Have someone that you can speak.
I always ask this question too, and this is kind of where we are about to wrap up the interview, is what the future will bring, but more in a sense that for independent watchmakers, is always that thing. If I only had this piece of equipment, if I only have this machine, life would be easier. If I learn this technique, life would be easier. If I can expand, if I have a bigger workshop, if I have, I don't know, if I have more time. But with you guys, I think you already reach a fairly high level of I say it again, perfection. Is there anything that you two think would take you to next level, if there is a next level, or is it just more of the continuing doing what you're doing? You tell me, what do you want from future?
our biggest problem, I think, it's time. Oh, because we are only two people, the whole company, and sometimes we have a lot of ideas that we won't make. that and we have also a lot of orders that we are happy, yes, but we don't have too much time for creating something that we want. And we have a lot of movements, a lot of ideas, like I said before, but the biggest problem for us is the time. Yeah, we don't have too much time. We both have small kids and can be in our shop until night or something. Yeah, that's one thing. It's the time, and we're learning with every watch. It's we won't make our own movement. This is one thing that we want. We won't start with tourbillon, and we have it on the paper, but it's still the question of the time that we don't have time to start work on it. That's the second thing, the time and our own movement, and the progress. It's easy that we only make what we like, and with every watch we are, I think, still many things learning with every watch until forever, I think. And we are still surprised with another watch that we have learned this and this, and it's really nice to work on every piece. It's never boring because we never do twice the same watch, and that's why we like our job. We don't make 10 same pieces, and that's we never want make 10 same pieces.
And who
Okay.
another question, okay, and this is difficult question to ask because you're artists and craftsmen. You're not just the watchmakers, you're not machinists, you're a different level. So I have to give you my example. Often, and then maybe that happens 3 times a week, maybe 4 times a week, sometimes even more often. uh, I would like to wake up one morning being Konstantin Chaikin. You know, I just feel like that would be great. That would be ultimate. I'm Chaikin, if you know what I mean. Do you have ever such a feeling that you want to wake up one morning and you're a different person? Who would you want to be?
I don't have it because I'm satisfied with ourselves. But we adore a lot of good artists. Yeah, it's still even Chaikin. It's really nice person. We know him, and he's really talented. He's also not watchmaker. Or I'm not sure, but if he has school, watchmaker school, not sure. But he, we don't have the feeling that we won't wake up with and be someone different. I like the way and the step by step that we learn, and are from day it's different, and we are happy that we can make that what we do.
Piece of advice for, I'm sure there will be some kids who are young or maybe even mid-age, uh, artists, machinists, watchmakers, maybe people who spend their entire life behind a bench just pulling apart Swiss watches, putting them back together, but having that dream that one day they will have a watch with their name on a dial, because that's ultimate for every watchmaker. Do you have a piece of advice for that person watching this video now who is not sure, is it worth it getting into it? Is it too difficult? We know it's difficult. We know it's time consuming. We know that no matter how long you do something, there's still room to improvement. And there's that fear that going in public. What kind of advice would you give to offer to someone who is considering starting his own brand?
Like you said, it's really complicated. Also, at the beginning, we think that it was much easier create something. And I think our advice is that if someone has the opportunity to create his own brand and has good ideas, I think it's not. I think the really important it's beginning and don't I would say in English and try and work on his dream, even if it's really tough and complicated. Don't stop. Still goes by his dream, and time show if it's possible or not. But if no one tried, it's can't know the answer if it's possible. It's on the skill, of course. If someone can have the skill, and but it's hard to say until he tried. I think this is really important. Try to make it, and offer the time, a lot of time, to start and make the first piece of the watch.
And what would be time frame? How much time should one give himself until he reaches a stage where he's not comfortable, but when he fulfills some of his expectations, dreams? Are we talking 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, a lifetime? Because the reason why I'm asking this, we have a lot of kids again knocking on our door, and when I tell them, like, we are looking for apprentices, but you have to commit for 10 years, they run away. Yeah. Should we lie to them? Should we tell them that you can become a master in 6 months? Or should we tell them the truth that even 10 years is not enough?
Yes, it depends on every person. Sometimes it's possible to make it in 5 years, maybe someone. But I think it's the process of the learning is forever. And everyone can be better, and it's still also the watchmaking. It's the piece of art that it's not for everyone. It's someone who can learn 5 years and still won't be good, and never. Yeah, but it's really hard question. But I think it's minimum 5 years for learning the things making good.
Well, Michal and Igor, I thank you very much for your time, and I thank you for the opportunity to talk to you guys. And once again, I will continue to follow your work with great excitement, and I'm sure that in the years to come there will be just more and more of your magic. We will have a link to your website, and there'll be a number of photos of your watches in this video. So if someone wants to contact you, what is the best way to get in touch? And assuming that that person, a customer, is prepared to wait 2 or 3 years.
Okay. Thank you for your time and your interest
Thank you very much.
in our brand and our story and everything. And we are glad that we can speak together.